Hello everybody and welcome to That's Football. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is your FA Cup watch-along between Sunderland and Newcastle. It's massive. I'm not even from the northeast, way man, but I know it's massive. It is massive. It's an absolutely huge game. That's Scottish. It's not from the northeast, but it is massive. It's an absolutely massive game. Can I say again, what a big game this is going to be. Absolutely huge. We've also got some big talking points to discuss on the show as well. Some controversy around the FA Cup. I think it was Thursday night when they had female analysts of the game and Joe Barton wasn't very happy. We'll talk about that as well because it's certainly escalating into what I would call childish immaturity from all parties. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. Welcome to the show. Great to be back. Predictions on this. Newcastle are not doing particularly well, but would be favourites. Sunderland are knocking on the playoffs or in the playoffs of the Championship, and they're at home. So I think it could be really interesting. Of course, there is a certain lad called Bellingham playing for Sunderland as well, which just adds to the drama. And let me just say this, Newcastle are taking it very seriously. They've gone with a very strong lineup. So respect, yes, respect to the Eddie Howe here, but I think he has to go strong. And I think that, you know, maybe if they were still in the Carabao Cup, maybe if they were still in the European Cup, the Champions League or whatever you want to call it, they maybe wouldn't take it as seriously. But they're sort of the same as Manchester United. They have to take it seriously. So let's go through the team news. You've got in goal for Sunderland, Patterson, Hume, Onion, Ballard, Alisi, Ekwa, Neal, Pritchard, Bellingham, Clark and Rosin. And then Newcastle go with Dubravka, Trippier, Shaw, Botman, Byrne, Longstaff, Gomeres, Joelinton, Almiron, Isaac and Gordon. You could argue that that's pretty much their strongest lineup and they're taking it extremely seriously. I think this is what the FA Cup is all about. I really do. I think it's I think this is exactly what the FA Cup's all about. There is a huge rivalry between these two clubs. It might get tasty. Yeah, I'm massively looking forward to this, and I hope that Sunderland can give us a game. I really do. Who do I want to win? I don't really have a problem with Newcastle. I think some Newcastle fans have a bit of a victim complex, and I don't have a problem with Newcastle. They're living the dream. I mean, at the end of the day, I'd much rather have the ownership model that Newcastle have got than Man United, and I don't care who clips me up. I would. If you want to be successful in football, you've got to have the infrastructure and the money to catch the likes of Man City, and Newcastle certainly have got that. My big statement has always been, I'm not sure Eddie Howe will be in charge of Newcastle next season. And I said it at the start of the season when it was, when it was a very controversial thing to say. But it's not like somebody saying Salah's not that good or, Haaland's fell off. You know, those sort of opinions are very, very wide of the mark, in my opinion. But Eddie Howe not being Newcastle manager next season, I don't think it's that big of a statement when you think about the ramifications of it. And if they were to go out today, they're a mid-table club out of all cup competitions in early January. So yeah, I think it's interesting. It's on ITV. It's on ITV, and yeah, we're about ready to go here. Macho says, I think Howe will be gone. Just a bit of a 2004 thing, by the way. Very popular on the United stand. We do have a member club, if you want to support the channel, where you have a badge next to your name. It's very popular on the United stand. It's always been there, but we're sort of launching it properly in 2024. Because if you follow Goldbridge Saves Football podcast, a lot of people have said, can you put the full podcast video on YouTube? And without really starting a Goldbridge Saves Football YouTube channel, which nobody wants. I've already got 3 channels. I've actually got 4 channels if you include the That's Entertainment clips. I don't want to do a 5th channel because it's just stupid. So what we're going to do is we're going to start uploading the full video podcast to our members section each week. So as a little bit of thank you for people who support the channel. So if you want to become a member, get your badge in. You'll have a badge next to your name in the chat. You'll have exclusive access to the video aspect of the podcast. you might just want to support the channel. Your badge changes each month as well. I forget the colours of month 1, but they change each month. And if you want to become a member, like EA Pirates there, you can see the badge element of it. It looks very good. You stand out. You can do that by clicking the join button, or it's pinned in the chat. So thank you very much for that. I just hope we get a good game. I just hope we get a good game here. That's what I'm looking for. Definitely. Just before we start the match though, it is about to start. I've got to say that I've seen a lot, and I'm not, you know, we're here to have proper conversation, whether it's your favourite packet of crisps, what you have on your Christmas dinner, Agony Bridge, you know, helping people out with real problems, like the guy whose wife left him the other day. I can help with all this sort of stuff, but the Joey Barton stuff that's going on, basically, he's been at it for about a month now, and he obviously turned his telly on Thursday night. I didn't watch the game on Thursday night between Everton and Brentford. I saw the red card. It was ridiculous. And apparently the ITV coverage had, I don't know. Was it an all-female panel talking about the match? And this sent Joey Barton into meltdown. And then ITV put a tweet out. Gary Neville got involved. A lot of people getting involved. I don't know because I didn't watch it. And guess what? If you don't like the panel on ITV or BBC or TNT or Sky, or you don't like the commentator, guess what? On here, you see that button that says mute? You can mute it. Or if you don't like the punditry after the game, you see this plus button or the menu, you can change the channel. So realistically, I think Joey Barton's probably gone too far, but at the start of it, I thought it was quite clever. I think he's just trying to, you know, get himself some exposure by being controversial. He has gone too far, in my opinion, but ultimately, I think ITV's statement has to come out, and I think Gary Neville making a statement was right, but expect the backlash from him, because we live in a world where people can have an opinion, and you can't live in a world where everything's forced down your throat. My daughter plays football. I've got no real issue with female panelists, female commentators. There's certain male commentators that I think are absolutely trash. So I'm not going to start saying you can't have female commentators or anything like that. But if you don't like it, don't watch it. It's not. You know, if Joey Barton actually communicated in a proper way, instead of doing it in a sensationalist way about serial killers and stuff like that, he's probably not far off making a point that we don't agree with, but you know, you can't argue with, in the sense that if he doesn't like female panelists, he doesn't have to like it, and he can tweet about it. If he puts a tweet out and say, I don't like that ITV coverage, I thought it was a bit crap, I don't think anyone can have a real problem with it. They can call him a sexist, but he doesn't have to watch it. It's the way he takes it to a level that is wrong for me, because everybody's got a right to talk about football. But these people trying to shut him down, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I don't think he should be shut down. I think it's a nice glimpse into the real world, that vile opinions exist. You know, murderers exist. You know, horrible people exist. We can't just cancel them and pretend that they don't exist. Sometimes it's good to be aware of them, and it you know, it helps you. I don't like the cancel culture of it. Oh, he's got to shut up and apologise. If he believes in that sort of stuff, there's worse people than Joey Barton out there. You just got to form your own opinion. So what gets on my nerves is the people who go, he can't say that. He's not allowed to say that. Of course he can. People say a lot worse than I don't like female presenters on ITV. He can say it, and some people will agree with him. Deal with it. I don't agree with him, but I'm not gonna panic or be outraged by it, because I hear a lot worse, and we all do in a day-to-day life. I'm struggling with this game. It's kicked off, and I'm really struggling with the kits. They're very white. What have they done with the kits here? What have they done with the kits? Ridiculous. This is a restart on FIFA. It's too much white. They're wearing red and white stripes, black and white stripes. That's a kick clash. I'm sorry. Restart the match. Oh, Newcastle nearly score though. I can't speak. This is like going to bed with twins. Who's your wife? I don't know. This is crazy. I can't believe it. I'm just focusing on the black shorts. It's a shame. It's a shame. It's a shame actually, because it's such a big game, and it's difficult to. It is difficult because you focus on the. You focus on the top half. You focus on the top half, so it's difficult. They've made a mistake here. Even our stats carousel has got Newcastle in green. Stupid. Stupid, really. Bellingham is starting for Sunderland. Yeah, I think he plays as sort of like a number 10. But Newcastle had a really good chance early on there. Good header, and it was very close. So, can I just say as well, in amongst all that, we had a kick clash, says Reece Smith. Beryl's just lost her job, and she doesn't know how she'll survive. I don't think that's a joke. So I won't. I'm just going to say, Beryl, that's horrible news. New year, new start. Hopefully you can find some work, but that's obviously depressing. And Kenneth Turney says 2004. I wish, says Kenneth. I don't know what that's all about, but thank you very much there. And obviously thoughts with Beryl. Tom says settings, kit change. Yeah. Yeah, the red shirt number, as somebody just said in the chat, doesn't help. Red numbers on the Newcastle shirts doesn't help, says Sean. I can't think of many teams that wear stripes against each other. I mean, I would imagine when Sheffield United, and also that Sunderland kit has got white all across its shoulder as well. It's not like that. Have Newcastle ever beaten Sunderland, says Soft? I'm pretty sure they have, yeah. Some good tackles flying in. Also, some of Chelsea fan here, Timo Werner joining Spurs is a good signing for them. I know some of our fan base knocked him. However, I just didn't think he suited us. Says delicious cheesecake. Thank you very much, mate. Aaron Walker says, surely they changed the kits at half time. It's very hard to watch. And he doesn't mean in a sex way. I think he means in an eye way. Believe it or not, they worry more about socks clashing than tops. As a referee, I would have asked Newcastle to change kits. I've seen West Brom versus Stoke, both striped, says ULF. Well, I don't know what's going on here with the referee, but I don't know whether they might be saying something about this. Oh no. Oh, it's the flag. There's something wrong with the fucking offside flag. There's something wrong with the kits, you twats. Change the kits. Change the bloody kits. No VAR today as well. Which I think the game's better without VAR. Oh, so the linesman can change his flag because he didn't put his batteries in, you bloody prat. You've been using them on your kids' toys, haven't you? You've took your batteries out on Christmas Day because you didn't buy any for your kids' toy, and you've took them out your flag and you forgot, and now you look a prat. Change the kits to green. We had it down as green. Anyway, we've had about 3 minutes here because that's going to be time added on. Or he's had him in his wife's toys. Few people saying that. You can't blame him for that. James says it's a huge game for Newcastle. It is. Newcastle have to win, which is why I think they will win. They have to win. I agree with Manimal. I think that that reminds me, actually. I agree with Manimal that there is no that the game will be better without VAR. 100%. Frenzy says it's because they want Newcastle and Sunderland in their home kits for the spectacle. Thing is, I've played the game. Gary. It's difficult. It's very, very difficult to play like that, especially if you're somebody who, doesn't have perfect vision. You've got slight colour blindness or something like that. It's not easy for the players. Bombo says United Stand show was good. Yeah, I enjoyed it this morning. 8 o'clock tonight as well. I don't normally do a Saturday night show, but I'm not on TalkSport, so I'm going to do 8 o'clock United Stand. There we go. Been sacked in the new year. I bloody haven't. The bottom line here is that I don't respect the FA Cup, so I didn't want to do it. I'm Premier League. I like doing Premier League reactions. I'm not interested in the FA Cup, although I am watching an FA Cup game here, and I do respect the fact that both teams are taking it seriously. All I want is for teams to take the FA Cup seriously. I saw a team last night made a lot of changes. Was it Fulham? I'm like, I hope you get knocked out. FC24 is back next week. Breaking news. Keep an eye on that. He'll be back next week. Joseph says, what do you think of Ali McCoist? I like Ali McCoist. I do. I like Ali McCoist. Oh, that reminds me. Well, it's not Ali McCoist related, but over Christmas, we pick our phones up in between playing games and presents and food and drink. And I saw a couple of things over Christmas on my phone, video clips that will make your eyes water. It wasn't porn, but it was animal battles. Now, my phone obviously knows that... last night I was looking at white trainers. I've never really had a pair of white trainers, and I thought, you know what, they do work. A nice clean pair of white trainers really do work with a pair of, with an overshirt and a shirt and a pair of, trousers, etc. So I was looking at some white trainers once. Every time I went on Instagram after that or Twitter, I was getting recommendations for white trainers. So it's very sinister and clever the way, phones, focus in on the things that we like. And it obviously knows I like animal battles. And it did treat me a little bit over the festive period. I saw a grizzly bear take a moose out. Big time. Big time. And I just want to say this purposely because there's someone in our live chat on That's Football who constantly goes on about how really tough mooses are. And I don't respect moose. I don't respect... I like chocolate mousse, but I don't like the moose animal. And it was fighting a grizzly bear in water, and the grizzly bear literally ripped it apart. Piece of piss. It was like it was opening a packet of crisps. It devoured it. They might be massive, Matthew, but they can't fight a grizzly bear. Grizzly bear, and the water was, it was like the rapids at Centre Parks. Like there were currents in it. Absolutely battered it. So don't ever come at me again saying a moose could fight a polar bear or a grizzly bear, because it genuinely couldn't. And it was an absolute battering. Battering. And then I saw one the other day, a lion. Well, it was a cowardly move by the hippo. It was a Di Maria move. It was snaky. Basically, this hippo's got the hump. That's a camel. He's got the hump, and all these lions are just sort of lying around, and he's got the hump, and he's running around like a bloody hippo with a sore head. This lion is just lying there, not thinking. Lying there. And it comes up behind it and literally grabs its arse in its mouth and starts shaking it about. Real cowardly attack, but it was like it had a rag doll in its mouth. The lion did run away, but I did wonder about its injuries. Grizzly bears are death machines, though, and moose wouldn't beat a bear or anything, but they're still scary, motherfuckers, says Dan. Just not against life's fur tank. There we go. Anyway, some good tackles going in here. Foul for Newcastle. Apparently Brighton and Newcastle are looking at Bellingham. Rob says that moose footage was AI generated. It never happened. It did. It did. I've got a mate who filmed it, and he told me. Are you doing a watch along for Arsenal versus Liverpool tomorrow? I am. Yes. Make sure you subscribe. By the way, we're on the road to 1.1 million. 2024. Some of the content we've got lined up for you is great. We're only 200 subscribers away from 88,000. By the way, get involved with That's Football. You're very welcome. So a free kick here for Trippier. It's a good position here for Trippier. If I saw a moose, I'd get one of those Aero chocolate mousses from Sainsbury's fridge section. I'd walk right up to it, well, 5 metres away. I'd open it and I'd take a big spoonful and I'd go, better than you. This moose is better than you. Way better than you. Swivel on it. Trippier's free kick, straight at the wall and through to the keeper. Oh, talking of animals, I've got to bring this in. This will make you laugh. Well, it might make you laugh. It might not. I don't know whether anybody has seen the Ricky Gervais comedy, which is out on Netflix at the moment. But if you haven't, it's well worth a watch. And basically, there is a section in it where he talks about a certain website where it's basically a website where you can, the cat's in Madeline's room with the door closed as well. Thanks. That's not animal cruelty, by the way. He likes to be in that room, and we were moving boxes around to put the Christmas stuff away, so he's in there. But I'd hate him to shit himself in there. Does the Dog Die? That's what it's called, Viper. So it's a website, and it's called Does the Dog Die? And he's talking about Schindler's List, which obviously the priority in that film is not whether a dog dies. But I'm going to give Ricky Gervais an assist here because I've got one lined up. So basically, don't worry, I'm watching the match, but this is just adding to it. So on this website, Does the Dog Die? The premise of it really is there any like cruelty? But it has gone a little bit woke. Like it does include a lot of things. So I was looking this morning and I thought I'll bring this in. Titanic. If you don't know what the Titanic film's all about, we've spoken about it before. He could definitely get on the door and he maybe should have shoved her off. No one would have known. There's no phones there, no camera phones. Shoved her off the door. When you get to New York, you just say, she fell in and I couldn't find her. Anyway, some of the questions that have been asked about Titanic film from this Does the Dog Die website. Does a dog die? Dogs are seen on the ship, and it could be inferred that many of them drown in the sinking, but we never actually see anything to that effect. Does someone leave without saying goodbye? Everyone who died left without saying goodbye. Is a child abandoned by a parent? Is an animal abandoned? These are some of the questions. Are there abusive parents? Yes, Rose's mother. Does an abused person forgive their abuser? No. Is someone stalked? Cal stalks Jack and Rose down the grand staircase with a gun. His bodyguard stalks them as well. Is there domestic violence? Rose's fiancé slaps her across the face and later shoots at her. I think we can safely say that's domestic abuse. There we go. Is a woman brutalised for spectacle? No. Does the abused become the abuser? No. But you can ring the National Domestic Violence hotline here. Is someone gaslighted? Yes. Rose, constantly gaslighted and guilt-tripped by her fiancé, Cal, and her mother, Ruth. Is someone abused with a belt? No. Does someone use drugs? There's a few scenes of characters visibly smoking cigarettes. Is there addiction? Many characters smoke and drink during the movie, but not enough to cause addiction. Does someone abuse alcohol? First-class passengers are shown drinking champagne during dinner and brandy, while third-class passengers are shown drinking beer. There are a couple of drunk third-class passengers during this scene, but no addiction. Were animals harmed in the making? No. Did a horse die? The only animals present during the film is a couple of dogs, some rats, and old Rose's pet goldfish. Does an animal die? No visible harm done to it, but Rose does have a goldfish, and it most likely did not make it. It's a great website. It's an absolutely brilliant website, and I might do more over the year because it's I just love it. I just love it. We're talking about Titanic. So there's a website for people who don't like to see an animal die in a film, and but the questions that are asked on the website are brilliant. It goes beyond animals. For example, are there spiders? I don't know why so many people are saying there are spiders. There are no spiders seen on the Titanic. Are there any sharks in it? No sharks whatsoever, but we do see dolphins. Does a woman get slapped? Yes, Rose is slapped by her fiancé. Is there paedophilia? No answers. Who knows? Off camera. Is someone held underwater? Yes. Rose is being pushed down underwater multiple times by a panicked passenger. It's basically a website for anybody who's got a problem with anything. You know, there is even, and fair play, I'm all for this, people even ask questions about race. Does a Chinese person die first? There is no evidence that a Chinese person dies first, but there are Chinese people on the boat. So, you know, if you're into all of that, you want to watch a film and know everything so you can tick it off and go, there's none of that in there. Does anyone eat a sausage? Not in a sex way. It's brilliant. And I've got to give Ricky Gervais his credit for that. It was very good. Have you watched Saltburn? Some weird scenes, says Ireland. No, I haven't. Anyway, Newcastle on the attack here. We've had 20 minutes, but there was a bit of an issue with the linesman. So, is there bestiality? There probably is a question about that. If you don't like it, piss off, Carl. I don't get told what to do. I've been doing this for years. We have the biggest watch-along. I don't care whether it's the biggest. I enjoy it. I like watching the football and having a chat with my community. If you want match commentary, it's on ITV, but don't watch it if you're sexist. Very even game so far. Let's have a look at the stats. Carl's ruined the mood now. Blame it on Carl. Carl's the sort of person that if you want to put fireworks on New Year's Eve and he's getting his health and safety manual out, isn't he? Oh, don't give me a blowjob. You might catch something. It's disgusting. Let me have a wash first. Anyway, enough of that rubbish from Carl. Let's have a quick look at the stats here. 74% for Newcastle. Yeah, it's Sunderland really are. I think Newcastle are very. That's got to be a foul by Almiron. No, he said play on. He's done well there, Almiron. That's late. That's late, ref. That's got to be a yellow. No, he's let it go. He's let it go. It's quite funny, actually, because I think Carl would actually like the website I was talking about. Carl probably wants it for football. Will there be any women commentators? Will there be any bad tackles? Will there be any swearing? Hey, it's coming, Carl. Don't worry about it. It's coming. 10 years' time. I'll tell you what, that should have been a yellow card there by Longstaff. He was late. Kylian Mbappe to Liverpool thoughts? Nah. I tell you what, I do think Timo Werner to Spurs is a good deal. I like Spurs this season. I like what Ange is doing. I like a lot of Spurs signings. Saltburn is horrific, says Sean Brown. What's it actually about? What's it all about? I don't know. Carl, we're only having a laugh, by the way. We're talking about the football now, Carl. You'll be fine. Man United fan for life. Thank you for being a member. We're trying to boost the members club this year. So if you want to become a member and support the channel, click the join button. This is a proper game of footy. It is. The only issue is that Newcastle are dominating the possession. What's a carol? I know it's a song at Christmas, but people keep calling Carl a carol. What is a carol? Man United fan for life. Thank you very much for becoming a member. I can see your badge there. You see, if you've got a badge now, you stand out a lot. You look cool. Man United fan for life. Thank you very much. No, I like Werner. I know, look, it's a saying. I actually like Werner, and I think he could be an interesting signing for Spurs, especially with no Son. I think it's a clever signing. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Excuse me. God, I've steamed my glasses up there. I think Mbappe will go to Real Madrid. Yeah. Ladios and Fennec are in the chat as well. Thank you. Yannick has got a red badge. David Hogan, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much. Right, I'm intrigued myself now. If you've got any either-ors, by the way, we'll do it. Nice ball into the box. I think Sunderland need to score first here. Simple as that. He's trying to get through. Good bit of defending by Sunderland. I think there is definitely a skill gap, isn't there? I think when you look at it, there's definitely a skill gap between the teams. Tumbleweed says, bless you, thank you. Connor says, Mark, this game reminds me of how football used to be. No VAR and some good challenges and no one begging the ref to look at VAR. Yes, Connor. Yes, Connor. We like that. Oliver Sharp, welcome to the Members Club. Thanks for joining and supporting the channel. Marzipan or custard, says Kenneth. What are we doing with it? I like marzipan because it's like got almonds in it, but custard has to be the winner. Custard has to be the winner. Kit Clash is annoying, says Connor. I've got used to it now. I have got used to it. Have you seen Darren Farley's impression of VAR post-Everton game? Very funny, probably accurate, definitely worth a look for a laugh, says Paul. I'll take a look at that, yeah. Okay, good either or here coming in from Joel. Joel Webber, I'll give you a shout out. So here's one for you. I love the either ors on here. Will gets really angry on Goldbridge Saves Football because he thinks it should be exclusive. But I said, well, it started here. Let's be friends. Let's be honest. If that's football, United stand and Goldbridge Saves Football were having a pint down the pub, that's football and Goldbridge Saves Football would be better friends. They're closer in relationship and likes. Start, bench, sell. Nketiah, Richarlison, Jackson. I will sell Nketiah. I will bench Jackson. And I will start Richarlison, Nicolas Cage. And which overlay program do you use, says Football Biz. What are you talking about? If you're talking about the graphics that go over the top, it's all done by Designer and Code. You can just do it with PNGs, though. You could just manually upload them and put them into a... What do they call it? Not a carousel. I can't remember what they call them on, like OBS and stuff. they'll just rotate automatically PNGs, but they won't. They're not updatable. Ours are live updated, so they've got code in them. So when you'll see a yellow card when a player gets a yellow card, you'll see a goal. The stats carousel actually is sponsored by OneFootball, I should say. Links in the description. Download it for free. Got all your latest breaking football news and transfer news this month. Of course, it's big on the OneFootball app for free. Latest breaking news and stats. Links in the description. Free to download on Apple and Android. Mark, is Man City being favourite for the treble again? I hope not. I bloody hope not. And welcome to the Red Members Club, Top Man Red. Appreciate that. Thanks for supporting the channel. Steak and kidney pie or chicken and mushroom, says Matthias. Definitely chicken and mushroom. I don't like kidneys. I like my kidneys. They help you piss. But I don't like eating kidneys. Steak and kidney pie would be perfect if it was just steak pie. I don't like kidney. I never did. But I do like liver and onions. I haven't had it for years. Hi Mark, Jordan or LeBron, says Aaron. Not big enough into basketball to really be knowledgeable on that. Where does Villa v Birmingham rank in derbies for you, says AVFC? Well, having lived around the area for 10 years, there's been some very serious incidents after that game, and it's very, very competitive and volatile. But obviously, I'm not from the area, and I don't really have a horse in the race. So, but this is a big rivalry, isn't it? You know, there'll be a lot of panic and excitement on both sets of fans because you want to win. Could easily go to a replay. I mean, I'm not a big. What are your thoughts on that? I'm not a big fan of replays in the FA Cup. I mean, already we've got two. Everton, Palace, and Wolves, Brentford. I just don't think we should be having replays anymore. I know why we do. But it's like I was having an argument with somebody over Christmas. So, yeah, surprise, surprise. You know, I'm not really an argumentative person, but I was having an argument with somebody who was who shall remain nameless. But I was arguing with Steve, and he is a fan of Cheltenham Town. And he was like, oh, I've seen that your content's doing really well. I was like, no, I need your verification, but thank you. And we don't get on. And he's just up himself. If he bought a vibrator for his missus, he'd use it on himself. And I don't care. I don't care if you're watching, Steve. Isaac's through. Isaac's through. And he wants a penalty. He wants a foul. He's not going to get one. That was never a foul for me. Never a foul for me. And that's the beauty of not having VAR, because VAR would review that. Do Man United get European football, says Boob. 50-50 at the moment, mate. Oh, I love football without VAR. I'll come back to Steve in a minute. So watch this back. Ball over the top. Isaac through. I don't think it's a foul. I think that moment there epitomizes why I hate VAR, because that's just a 50-50 coming together, but he's one-on-one, and if you give the foul, you got to give the red card, and the game's over. And it's just a coming together, 50-50, play on. There's nothing to that. It happens all over the pitch. I'm looking at it here. He's got a bit of his shirt, but Isaac's got a bit of him. They both go down. I don't think that's it. I don't think it's a foul. I think they're both grabbing hold of each other. But VAR, he's gone. With VAR, they'll analyse that for 5 minutes and send him off. And I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I think it's two players going for the same ball, grabbing hold of each other. Not a penalty, not a foul. Well, it's not a penalty, Mike Meeker, because it wasn't in the box. I don't have a horse in the race. I don't really care who wins this, but that for me is where VAR gets ruined. We'd still be there waiting now. The game's been played for 2 minutes. I want the flow. I want the flow of the game. Vimo says he pulls him down, clear foul. Yeah, that's why I'm glad there's no VAR, because it's Prats like you that would give him a red card and send him off. No, wasn't a foul. Isak was grabbing him as much as he was grabbing her. They're both male. Anyway, back to the Steve story. I love football without VAR, and as I said, he was like, "Oh, I've seen some of your content. You're doing really well." I can tell he's pissed off, and he goes, "But I've got to disagree with you on a couple of things." I was like, "Oh, well, right. Like I really care." And he was like, "You're very wrong about the 3 p.m. blackout. It needs to stay. Because if you think about it, when Cheltenham are playing at 3 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon, and there's Premier League games that aren't on at 3 o'clock, then people might go and watch Cheltenham, and that helps us survive." And I said, "But that's not what the rule was set up for." Shot over the bar from Longstaff. I said, "But that's not what the rule was set up for. Stop changing the rule." And he said, "What do you mean? The 3 p.m. blackout is to protect lower league clubs." I said, "Bollocks. The 3 p.m. blackout's been going since the 60s. It wasn't until the mid-90s that teams stopped playing predominantly at 3 o'clock on a Saturday." So I said that rule was in place for over 30 years when the majority of Arsenal, Man United and everyone else was playing at 3 o'clock on a Saturday, the same time as Cheltenham. How does that benefit Cheltenham? They've adapted the rule to make it suitable to today, but it wasn't why the rule was there. Yeah, there aren't many 3 o'clock Premier League games now, and people could go and watch Cheltenham. But the rule was in place for 30 years before that, when most Division 1 clubs or Premier League clubs played at 3 o'clock. So shove your rule up your arse. He didn't like that. He didn't like that. And he said, "Well, all right then, let's talk about VAR." I said, "Let's not talk about VAR because it's Christmas. And I'd really hate for this to turn into a wrestling match, because I'll John Cena you right the way through this living room table." If Jordan Henderson would have gone back to Sunderland, would you then be okay if he gets an England call-up, says Rago. Yeah. It's a goal. It's an own goal. It's an own goal. It's a great finish. It's an absolutely brilliant finish. I don't think he could have finished it any better if he wanted to score. But it's an OG. It's a cross by Joel Linton. And he absolutely buries it. Haaland would love this. It's harshland for the Sunderland defender. But he's buried it. He's absolutely buried it. And the Newcastle fans celebrate because an own goal does count. But I think it was the guy who could have been sent off. Maybe he's wishing he is. But it's good play by Newcastle. They've taken this seriously. Joel Linton, powerful down the left-hand side, puts the cross in. To be fair to the defender, he's got to do something, because if he doesn't, Isak's tapping it in anyway. And yeah, he's buried it right in the top corner. Look at this. This is the best angle. On the volley as well. Bang. Unstoppable finish. Oh, he's bothered. Get that head up and go again. I wouldn't even feel too bad if I was him. At the end of the day, if he doesn't do it, Isak's going to score. So, Ballard with the OG. But Sunderland haven't really done enough. Newcastle have taken this very seriously. And I tell you what, I wanted to say this a few minutes ago. I tell you what this shows to me. Sunderland are in the Championship playoffs. Newcastle are what? 8th or 9th? The gap between the Championship and the Premier League is getting bigger. It's getting bigger and bigger. It's absolutely massive. This is a playoff Championship side at home against Newcastle, who aren't far off mid-table. And they're getting absolutely dominated. Is that evidence of the gap? Paul's right. I think Isak was going to bury that anyway. Will Ashworth be scouting lower down the league, says Akash. I don't know. No VAR against Wigan. I bet you'll miss it then, mate, says Nelly. No, I won't. I don't like VAR. Switch it off. Don't care. Dit says, that's football, the biggest insert Premier League team name fan channel in the world. I don't know what that means. And Kulusevski or Rashford? Well, at the moment, it's got to be Kulusevski, noob. By the way, the Watkins Solanke either or did not go well. 73% for Watkins, 27% for Solanke. They should just have VAR for offsides. That's it, says Max. I saw that Brentford should have had a player sent off yesterday as well, Tom. Yeah, I don't think it was actually a red card for Gomez for Wolves, but there was definitely one on it from a Brentford player. Here's one for you. This is a great either or. It doesn't always have to be a player. Who will finish higher? Who will finish higher this season? Chelsea, Newcastle. Now, before you start jumping in, let me tell you that the points gap between Newcastle and Chelsea is 1 point. That's why I picked it. There's 1 point between Chelsea and Newcastle. And I've heard it through the grapevine that Chelsea want Osman. Oh, I heard it through the grapevine. Thanks for all the super chats today, by the way. Great to see a lot of, I mean, not as many as the Premier League, let's be honest. We'd normally be on about 20,000 live viewers. Although I think tomorrow we will. Arsenal, Liverpool, I think there'll be more interest. But the FA Cup just doesn't have the same interest, I agree. Yellow card. You know what I loved there in the background as the referee gave the yellow card to the Sunderland player? I really loved all the 8, 9, 10, 11-year-old Sunderland fans at the front going like that towards the referee. It really encapsulates the family feel of the FA Cup, seeing young kids swearing and calling a referee a wanker. Newcastle are going to spend big in January. The one I'm keeping an eye on is David De Gea. I really think they should do it, but Harry will do Spurs or Villa in a minute. How is Joe playing, says Issa. Well, Sunderland aren't really doing much on the attack. Newcastle have taken this very seriously. They have to. Very similar to Man United. The FA Cup is very important to them. And they've taken it very seriously. And you know what? When Newcastle have got everybody fit, they are a good team. There's no way Newcastle are a mid-table team. I will say this with total and utter conviction. Newcastle this season probably played the best I've seen against Man United. I thought the game at St James's Park where they only beat us 1-0, but the intensity and the way they moved the ball about, I thought they were incredible. Abdullah says, what do you think of the Epstein saga? Mate, as I said to you before, if I know something and I've read something, I'll talk to you about it. But I'm one of those people who just, I don't have to have an opinion on everything and I don't have to read everything. And I really don't really, I've not really done much reading about it. I've seen people talking about some list or something, but no, it's not really on there for me. Paqueta or Palmer, says Matt. Well, 63% of you say that Newcastle will finish against Chelsea, above Chelsea, which is interesting. I can see what you're on about, but they are only separated by 1 point. I will just do that one because we can always come back to the Spurs Villa one. So Paqueta or Palmer, either or. Get your votes in. EAFC, I am going to finish my EAFC career. I played a little bit over Christmas, got back into it, so I'm going to finish my career mode this week. Well, I won't finish it this week, but I'm going to bring it back next week. I lied twice. Alvin says, the problem is Paqueta's got a questionable character. You don't have to invite him round for Christmas or sleep with your wife. You just want him to play as an attacking midfielder, mate. Loads of footballers are pricks. I think people need to move past this whole, everyone needs to be like Juan Mata, a nice bloke. Most footballers probably aren't the sort of people that you want to spend time with because they're ridiculously rich and they've got loads of people around them telling them how great they are. There's plenty of Man United players, ex-Man United players, who are complete knobheads, but still legends of the clubs. Man United fan for life says, how are you, mate? I'm a member here and on United stand. Double whammy. Thanks, mate. Thanks for your support. It's close. It's a close either or this. I like it. Matt gave us the super chat, Paqueta or Palmer. And I'm going to say to Matt, you are very, very much the winner here at the moment because you've come out with the best one we've had so far. Phil Mitchell says, I missed the Christmas tree. You just got to move on. You got to move on. It's like the ending of a relationship because they were only in the country for a month. It's like a long-term distance relationship. They were here for December and a bit of November and a tiny bit of January, and now they've gone back to wherever they come from. In this case, the loft, in a box. That doesn't mean I've ended a past relationship by killing anyone. That's not what I meant. What I meant is, you know, we've had a good time. See you again in November. Unless I get a new tree. You know, I might be out in John Lewis in September and see a better tree. If not, you're welcome to come back. To be honest, I'm quite happy with the one I had. I'm not looking. But let's not rule anything out. Sam, it's got nothing to do with immigration. The tree was legally allowed to be in the studio, but they don't live here. It's not that sort of a relationship. I don't want to be turning around and seeing the Christmas tree lights in the summer. You know, I need my space. And it's expensive having those lights on all the time. I haven't built my Lego yet. No, it's still in the box. Custard creams or chocolate bourbons? I would go with the chocolate, Dang. Yes. And were you at Miami Mall recently? No, Aaron. 100% not. If you saw one in real life coming at you, you'd make chocolate mousse in your pants, says Rob. No, I wouldn't. I've already told you that. I wouldn't. What a goal. Oh, what a not goal. Almiron, back post. Lovely technique. It's just gone wide. 3 minutes of added time. Let's have a look at this again. It's a lovely ball by Bruno Guimaraes. And he just doesn't quite get the technique right. It's fight or flight. It's sink or swim. As I've said to you before, I was given a weapon that was not a projectile to fight a polar bear with. And I said samurai sword. And what I would have to do is just hold it together until the last second and make sure that that one swipe is the most important swipe of your life. And it's the same with a moose. If a moose is coming at you angrily and you go, oh, I'm scared, it's not going to feel sorry for you. I'll be scared inside, but I won't give away the fear. I will just stand there at the last second, step aside and chin it. And hopefully that'll knock it out. But either way, I'm stepping aside. Looks like Paqueta's going to win this. Against the Grizzly, you've got no chance. So you're telling me a samurai sword against a grizzly bear, there is no chance? I think you're wrong. So you're telling me if a grizzly bear comes at me and I am very proficient in using a samurai sword, which I'm not saying I am, but if I did a little bit of a dance move and just went, actually that would not be good because I'm twisting my wrists. If I went like this, I don't even know what I'd do. Anyway, if I stab it, it ain't gonna instantly go, that's fine. You've stabbed me in the liver. It's gonna be hurt. It's gonna get hurt. The Almiron we know and love is back, says Joel. Joel Linton's down. Oh, hamstring. This is the thing. This is the thing. I keep talking about this and people won't listen. People keep thinking when we get our players back, we'll be fine. You're not getting your bloody players back. Somebody will come back. Someone else will get injured. Do you think Liverpool are going to suffer badly having no Salah, Endo or Szoboszlai tomorrow, says Connor? Depends what team Arsenal pick. I mean, I'm looking forward to the game. Do you still talk to Incy? Says Jack. I haven't spoken to him in a while, but we do exchange the odd message. And Tiger versus Bear, who wins, says Josh. I think a bear, but I actually haven't done a lot of research on that one. But realistically, between Liverpool and Arsenal, it's one of those, isn't it? Liverpool are in a title race. Arsenal want to be in a title race. Arsenal are in the Champions League. Liverpool are in the Carabao Cup semi-final. I can sort of see a case for both clubs disrespecting the FA Cup. And I don't like it when teams disrespect the FA Cup. But I respect why both of them would disrespect it. Because look at the injuries. You know, less games is better. Especially when you're in a league race. You can't be in the Europa League, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, and a league title race. I don't think there's anybody who can deal with that. I don't think even Man City can deal with it this year. I think Man City have had seasons when they can, but I don't think they can this year. So I think that both teams, I think Arsenal might take it more seriously than Liverpool tomorrow. What single weapon would you need to kill a rhino, says Hessen? Well, if I had an AK-47, it's going down. And don't talk to me about it's got thick skin. It might be able to put up with being called fat. Maybe it's thick-skinned then, but it ain't going to be thick-skinned enough to take an AK-47. Mark, in all seriousness, if they're not going to have clear-out players, I really believe Man United would become a very hard team to beat under a Sean Dyche type of manager, says Nicholas. Nuclear Warhead would probably do it as well. Lone Star says, it depends which type of bear and which type of tiger. Well, it's Tony the Tiger from Frosties against Yogi Bear. Anyway, it's half time. It's half time and it's Newcastle leading 1-0. I really wish Sunderland had been scoring first, but I've got to be fair. Newcastle have taken it very, very seriously. And as we can see from the stats there, 6 shots to 1. 2 shots on target to none, 2 corners to none, 72% to 28%, and I just think this is another example of just how big the gap is becoming between the Championship and the Premier League. And I'm going to tweet it. Tell me I'm wrong. Paqueta has won. He's beaten Palmer by 55% to 45%. Our next poll, and I'm open to them, let us know. I'm going to say who will finish higher. Villa or Spurs? Villa, I've got to say Spurs as well. Remember we spoke about this a few weeks ago. I really think that this January transfer window is massive. Who wins the January transfer window? Massive. If you sit and do nothing, it's a risk. If you go and do something, it could be a brave thing to do that actually makes a big difference. I think Werner's a clever deal, and I think that if they bring that centre back in from Genoa or any other centre back, I think it's a clever thing to do as well. I really do think it comes down to what people do in the January transfer window. I'm going to do another film in a minute, whether people like it or not. So if you give me a film, basically I've watched Ricky Gervais last night, and there's a website called Does the Dog Die? And basically it's about whether a dog dies in a film, but they ask loads of other stuff about it as well, which I think is rather funny and humorous if you get the right film. So I will talk about that in a moment. Do you watch much of Tifos Football's content, says Connor? No, not really. And you know why? I just find that there was somebody over Christmas who used my name, and that's fine. You know, if it works for retweets and everything. There was somebody who used my name over Christmas, and they were saying it's so obvious he's never played the game and he doesn't know anything about it. And I don't mind that sort of stuff because it's a defence mechanism from people who aren't successful to slag other people off. But I didn't drop out their mum's chuff. They don't know me. We don't spend Christmas together, and we don't go to Greg's and get our dinner together. So I can't be arsed with people who take a game that's very simple and open to everybody, and everyone can have an opinion on it, and get elitist. I can't stand it. I've played the game. I've studied the game. I've read a book about the game. I can't be arsed. I used to play football from the age of 5 until the age of about 16, every minute I could. Indoor, outdoor, team sport, pub football, five-a-side. Never stopped playing it, never stopped watching it. So where is the graph on who can talk about football and who can't? What they actually mean is they want to be a football nerd and everybody to kiss their arse because they've read a few books about the Gegenpress or something like that. And football's a piece of piss. I was talking about United Stand today. And I said there is no manager in the top half of the table, apart from David Moyes, who could get that United squad to play well. Because those players actually only suit counter-attacking football. They can't play the way Spurs play. They can't play the way Man City play. They can't play the way Liverpool play. Man United would actually be better with Thomas Frank than De Zerbi, because Thomas Frank plays counter-attacking football. Because our players can't play possession-based football. They're better off counter-attacking. Sam Allardyce would probably do not a bad job at United because they're very simple footballers. But I haven't read a book to figure that out. I've watched football, and a lot of you will have done as well. Carol, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much. If that is the Carol, there's your gift of becoming a member. Oh, yeah, listen to that, Carol. You know you like it. But Pele and Cruyff or Messi and Ronaldo, I'm not doing that. A dog dies in John Wick. We should probably do John Wick. I was going to do Goodfellas. But yeah, Big Six wanted ESL to make the gap even larger, says Akash. Look, I just think that the gap between the Premier League and the Championship is getting massive. And I've got a lot of axes to grind. You know, I don't like VAR. There's a lot of things about modern football I don't like. But I don't like the parachute payments. I've said it before. I don't like parachute payments. And what are parachute payments? Basically, if you get relegated, you get about 100 million over 3 years, don't you? Which means that you get so many clubs that get relegated and get re-promoted. But the gap is getting bigger. Luton are giving it a bloody good go, but they're miles off. Sheffield United and Burnley are miles off. And I'm not just talking about Man City. They're miles off Fulham. They're miles off Crystal Palace. Also, Sunderland are in the playoffs. And they're at home against their biggest rival, who are not doing very well at the moment. And they're absolutely battering them. So, yeah, it's the gap is getting bigger. And it's a shame. It's a shame because I think we all want to see not even a cup upset. We just want to see a good game. But this has been ridiculously one-sided. Bruno Gomes or Douglas Luiz, says Matt. This is a great one. So 65% of you have said that Villa will stay up. Matt's not content with Paqueta against Parma. Matt wants to be the 2024 king of the chat when it comes to polls. He's probably wrote that one down and said that was a really close one. He's come up with another one. 65% say that Villa will finish above Spurs, by the way. I think that's a bit high. I think it'll be a lot closer. But Matt has a new either or. And it's a good one. And I've forgotten it. But I've remembered it now. Bruno G against Douglas L. Or as we call him, Douglas Luiz. Get in the back. Get in the chat. Would you ever want to I can't read that. I can't read that. But no, actually, I will say this. I was asked this over Christmas. Would you ever want to present on the mainstream? Oh, it's a good question. I don't need to. I'm in a position where, for whatever reason, you can interpret it however you like, but I don't need to. There's nothing that makes me have to do it. It's not like somebody can come along and go, you know, dangle a carrot in front of me and go, oh, I don't need to do it. So I'd have to want to do it. I'm open to project. You know what? I'd rather host a game show than ITV FA Cup coverage. To be honest, I really like the idea of that sort of stuff. But yeah, and it's not arrogance. I just love this. I love this. I get loads of offers to do different stuff, and I'll go, yeah, but that means I can't do it on That's Football. So I love this. I love this. I love talking about the football, the big topics, the controversial stuff. We were talking about the Joey Barton stuff. If you weren't here at the start of the show, quite an interesting take on it. I haven't got a problem with what he says. I don't like what he says, but I haven't got a problem with him saying it because it's the world. You know, there's somebody out there doing something to a badger. There's somebody out there doing something with a carrot. I don't like that either. There is bad opinion and there are bad people out there. But to try and pretend they don't exist is ridiculous. Actually, I actually quite appreciate Joey Barton speaking about it because we get to see that there are these people out there expressing these opinions. What the mistake is to try and say that they can't say it. Of course he can bloody say it if he means it. But we don't have to, you know, it's not like he's going to take over the world, is it? He's not running for Prime Minister. Open the door, it's a bear. It's very close between Douglas Luiz and Bruno Gomes, by the way. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate that. And thanks for all the super chats as per usual. And we've had a few members today. Thank you very much for joining the members club. We're going to be pushing that in 2024 because our full video podcast will be going up on the members very, very soon. Big Ange versus Big Sam in a cage fight, says Josh. I think Big Ange would beat him now. I mean, Big Sam's got to be knocking on a bit. Definitely. Mark, Fab just said Timo Werner going to Spurs on loan. Thank God he's not coming to United, says Posty. But I disagree with that. What do you think we're going to get that's not Timo Werner? I mean, I'm not saying Timo Werner's perfect, but in the January transfer window, he's much better than Choupo-Moting or Weghorst. I think Spurs have done a good bit of business there. What do Man United get if Werner goes to Spurs, says Benjamin? Exactly. I would have been very, very happy with Werner. Remember I said before that there is a website where you can find out lots of things about it. It's a bit woke, really. It's all about, you know, does a goldfish get traumatized, etc. So Goodfellas film on this website. Oh, no one's really answered any questions about this, which is fine. Oh, here we go. Is someone gaslighted in the film Goodfellas? Yes, one character convinces his wife she's crazy and paranoid for thinking he's cheating on her, but he's actually cheating on her. There we go. Does someone use drugs? Yes, someone abuses cocaine. Is a child abused? Yes, a child is beaten by a parent in the beginning. I mean, some of the stuff's quite good, actually, that it tells you about the film. Is a rabbit harmed? Does a cat die? Is their dog fighting? Does a horse have sex? I mean, is that important to somebody before they watch Goodfellas? I'd be a little bit more concerned about the gangster element, than whether a horse is whacking one out. HPN says, Ollie's at your door. It's really close between Douglas Luiz and Bruno Guimaraes, by the way. Very, very good from Matt again. Very, very good. Very good. I'll read some out. Goodfellas is a Christmas movie, says Wilco. Does Christmas actually feel... I've got a big admission to make here. I think I said it to you before. I didn't watch Die Hard this Christmas. Probably the first Christmas I didn't watch 1 minute of Die Hard. I'm not saying I always watch all of it, but Dominic Solanke or Watkins, says Lennox. We've already done it, Lennox. You're late to the party, but I'll tell you the answer. It was a win for Watkins, well into the 70%. Well into the 70% there. So, yeah. We're only 100 subscribers away from 88,000. So please do subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. Get involved with That's Football in 2024. We are doing Liverpool against Arsenal tomorrow in the FA Cup. But there are a lot more watch-alongs coming up for you. Let me just tell you what we've got over the next coming days and, I suppose, week or so. Liverpool against Arsenal, actually at Arsenal tomorrow at 4:30. We'll be live for that. Monday night, I'm on United Stand for Wigan against Man United. Tuesday night, it's Middlesbrough against Chelsea in the Carabao Cup. And Wednesday night, it's Liverpool against Fulham in the Carabao Cup, first leg. Nothing on Thursday, nothing on Friday. Saturday lunchtime, Chelsea, Fulham, Premier League is back, and Newcastle, Man City, 5:30. And Man United play Spurs next Sunday. So Premier League back, Carabao Cup semi-finals, lots going on. Make sure you subscribe. Who's your favourite James Bond actor, says Nico. I actually did really like Daniel Craig. I just didn't like... I don't know whether I don't know whether I can watch it anymore. I didn't like the end, really. Middlesbrough Chelsea again. I'm looking forward to it on Tuesday, but it could be very similar to this. You know, you look at the Championship table, and Sunderland are currently in 6th and are getting beaten quite comfortably by Newcastle. Middlesbrough are 12th. So I think it could be one-way traffic again. Get some topics ready for Tuesday, because it could really be one-way traffic. Definitely. Next poll, Phil Foden or Odegaard? Good one, Hessen. Good one. Douglas Luiz is winning this against Bruno Guimaraes. I'm going to close it down in a minute. I've been a bit disappointed with Sunderland, I've got to say. I don't watch much Championship football. In fact, I tell a lie, I don't watch any. But I do look at it and go, well, you know what? It's rather interesting, isn't it? How they've really struggled to have any impact on this game so far. My God. Why bother? I'm going to close it and I'm going to give it to Douglas Luiz. 51% to Bruno Guimaraes is 49%. We've had some cracking either-ors here. I'd go Bruno Guimaraes over Douglas Luiz, by the way. I've just realised I need to start answering some of these myself when we do the poll. The next one we're going to do is Foden against Odegaard. Is anyone actually looking forward to the Euros this summer as well? Mark, I just got a puppy. What should I name him, says Lee. I would name him... What sort of dog is it? You know, you can't call an Alsatian, Carol. But you can't call a tiny dog Bruce. You know, we need to know the breed of a dog. And we're up and running for the second half. Who's going to leave United and have a more successful career, Maguire or McTominay? Well, I think if McTominay left Dino, he might find his level. Have you watched the movie Saltburn? Best part, says HFG. No, I haven't watched it. Is it recommended? Oh, it's a boy dog. Name it dog, says Anfield. Come on, Sunderland. Oh, here we go. Stupid mistake. 1-0, 2-0. That's it. That's game over. What a prat. That's game over. Right at the start of the second half. Get that head up. You've just fucked it for everybody. Football, eh? I mean, it's just Pratt defending. He gets it back from the keeper and then he tries to take on. What is he doing? I despair. I absolutely despair, and I'm not a Sunderland fan. What is he doing? Trying to take... You're the last man and he's trying to take on Almiron. He tackled himself as well. He hit it onto his own shin. And Almiron squares it to Isak. And he finds the corner. Nice and easy. It's a brown Labrador, says Lee. Okay, if it's a brown Labrador, I would call him... Chris. Or Bruce. Bruce is a good name. I always think Bruce for a dog is a good name if it's big enough. Joel Linton's coming off here. Probably a precaution. No, I don't know. Actually, he might be injured. That might be a bit of a blow. Lewis Miley comes on. It's not really game over. If they get a goal back, it'd be interesting. But Liam or Noel? Non-football question. This is high voltage. I think Noel talks such shit about football. I mean, at least Liam talks less shit, but... Brian is a good name as well for a lot. I like anything beginning with BR, really. Bruce, Brian, Bryn. Mark, really appreciate you doing the Chelsea game on Tuesday, even though it might be a dire watch, says Blues enthusiast. I'm getting a bit of football withdrawal, to be honest. Not that I'll watch any old shit. I mean, I was never going to do... That's a good shot. Good save by Dubravka. You know, I'm not going to watch any old shit. I mean, I'm sure there's FA Cup games later on today that are absolute shite. I haven't looked, but... what have we got today? Ooh. Middlesbrough Villa. Yeah, I'm not massively interested in that. Chelsea Preston. Not really had any shocks yet, have we? Ipswich are beating Wimbledon. Coventry beating Oxford. Maidstone beating Stevenage. Leicester are beating Millwall. Could call him Bruno. Bruno's a good name. Ah, Bruno's a great name. Call it Bruno. Definitely call it Bruno. Yeah. Bruno the Brown Labrador, Lee. That's perfect. Mark, really, Mark, I'm 7. What's wrong with cucumbers in girls' jails? Yeah, I'm not explaining that, Sel. Forget about it. Wait till you're 17 and ask your mum. Joe's been impressed with Bellingham in this game. I'd love Sunderland just to get a goal back. Make a tie of it, you know? Need a stretch. A good heart these days are hard to find. A good heart, yeah, the lasting kind. Are you going to watch Wrexham play Shrewsbury? I don't know. Fly's not done undone, Zach, so don't get excited. Definitely caged in. Do you think Villa has a shot at the league, says Aidan? Well, at the moment they do. I don't think they will win it, but I wouldn't write them off. Chelsea versus Preston, you don't fancy it, Mark, says Nicholas. No. Look, to be honest with you, there's 2 games that stood out for me from the FA Cup. That was this one and Arsenal-Liverpool. The rest of them, I'll leave it with you. Last one, Doku or Kudos, says Matt. Well, Foden's beaten Odegaard by 59%. What was this one? Doku or Kudos? Okay, well, I think I know who will win with that one. I'd take Odegaard over Foden, by the way. Happy birthday to Scott. Mark, which old ground will you miss the most? Like Goodison? Well, that's the one I love, the Art of Cinema, so I'll be sad. Goodison's the one I sort of remember the most. That reminds me of being a kid, watching it on the telly. I think every other ground has either gone or been renovated beyond recognition. Daniel says, coming from a steward in the stadium, pandemonium. Lee Berman says, Matty Cash versus Ben White. Come on, Sunderland. Get an equaliser. Get a goal. Not an equaliser. Get one back. Make it interesting. Apparently PSG are looking at Bruno Guimaraes, aren't they? I think he'll go. One thing that doesn't get discussed about Newcastle is it's the same problem that Keegan had. Can you get players to go and live in Newcastle and stay there for 5 to 10 years? And that's a rhetorical question. I don't know. Jordan Pickford there watching the game. If that's his missus, she's got no interest. She's got absolutely no interest, has she? You can tell. If I know people like I think I know people, whoever that lady is sat next to Jordan Pickford, she has got no fucking interest at all. You can see it in her eyes. She's thinking about something else. Could be the cucumbers in the prison. Might have earpods in listening to this, but she's definitely not interested in this. Nicholas has got to watch Chelsea today because he's a Chelsea boy. Oh, mate, I'm watching Man United Wigan on Monday. You know, if it's your club, I get it. Newcastle fans sneaking in the home end and the Mackems trying to rush away, says Daniel. That's the trouble, isn't it? Yeah. That's the trouble. Harry's in Stoke for Brighton away. Wish me luck. Again, I don't know how interested Brighton would be in that. You know, they've had loads of injuries. Europa League's very important to them. Have you ever been to Newcastle, Mark, says Linda? No. That's why I'm not going to slag it off. No, I just think it's very remote, isn't it, Newcastle? That's what I'm saying. Some footballers would rather sign for a London club than Manchester or Liverpool. So Newcastle, I mean, Newcastle's basically nearly Scotland, if you're not from the UK. I just remember Keegan saying it, that it was a problem trying to get players to come and live in Newcastle because it's so remote. But then again, in the modern game, people will go and play anywhere for money, won't they? Look at Bruno Guimaraes there in front of the Newcastle fans. He is a shithouse. I mean, look, I never really have a problem with it. If it's against you, it's horrible, but I like to see a shithouse because it just, you know, they're in tune with the fans, aren't they? Is this the last day of Scooby-Doo, says Jude. Yes, he's got to go. Great point. Put him by the door. You're in the loft, mate. Love your show. Cheers from Poland to Stanislaw. Thank you very much, mate. And Vendetta says, hi, Mark. Greetings from Austria. I've been following you for 3 years. Do you think FA Cup winner should get Champions League to make it more interesting? It's a great point, Vendetta. And I'm happy to do a poll on this. Kudus has beaten Doku, by the way. Let me turn this into a poll because I think it's quite an interesting point. Should FA Cup winner get UCL spot to potentially make the tournament better? Ooh. Bruno G's a proper shithouse as Man United fan for life. Scarboy says that Peter said the lasses in Newcastle are very accommodating. Is that true? I can't speak. Never been. Mark, some even say it's grim up north, says Nicholas. Good tackle that. Nothing wrong with that. You would save a lot of your money if you live in Newcastle as a footballer, though, says Isaiah. And that's it. McTominay stopped believing in Santa, says Jude Forsyth. I think the FA Cup should get rid of replays. That's what I would do. Come on, Sunderland. Why didn't you pass? I mean, it's a good shot, but you should have passed. Greedy. Greedy player there, Pritchard. Or Pratchard. There's a play here, slipping in. Look, he's made the run. Nah, I think he's greedy there. A shot off target is off target, whether it hits the bar or not. Decent shot by Theo Baker, says Matthew McFadden. I'd love him to score, Sunderland. I really would, just to make it interesting. Here's Miley. As someone from the northeast, it's not that bad, says Gumpy. There we go. Big tackle there by Onion. Oh, you love those tackles. Ball and player. Love it. Get the ball, get the player. Bang. Here he is again. Pritchard, he's starting to come into it. Oh, it's a bad pass, though. I will be doing Wigan versus Man United, yes. Sib, Monday Night Football. Looking forward to it. Seems like a long time since United have played. Who do you support if not United, says Johnny? No. I don't believe you can have two teams. I'm sorry. I don't believe in it. Ian O'Connell, hope you're doing well. Ian, he says, hope you're doing well yourself. Loved the podcast yesterday. Disappeared from Spotify, but back working now from your pal from Ireland. Hope you're doing well, Ian. Yes, it disappeared from Spotify because some prat did something stupid and it went down. But it's back now. And yeah, as I said before, in 2024, get involved with the podcast, Goldbridge Saves Football. It's going from strength to strength, and we've got some great stuff to come this month, actually. Akash says, Ange or Arteta? Well, it's got to be Arteta at the moment, but I do like what Ange is doing. And Off the Post says, I've played with Messi, Peter Crouch and Totti. I retired in 2023 after a stint in Japan. Who am I? Oh, come on. I played with Messi, Crouch and Totti, and I retired in 2023 after a stint in Japan. Who am I? Well, the chat are going to be quicker than me at this. Is it that lad from Stoke? A lot of people are saying it. Bojan. Yeah, I would say Bojan. Because he played at Stoke, didn't he? I haven't been to Newcastle, says Nick P, but it doesn't look very luxurious. I can't see Mbappe living in a penthouse overlooking the Tyne with foggy mornings. Thanks, Nick. UCL for the FA Cup winner, says Joe. Keep replays in the FA Cup and get rid of the Carabao Cup altogether. I'll tell you what, it's interesting. 51% are saying no, you shouldn't get a Champions League spot if you win the FA Cup, but 49% of you are saying yes. I'm very impressed by the opinions of the community as ever, because for me, this is a big, fat no. I do not think an FA Cup winner should get a spot in the Champions League, because the FA Cup is, what, 6 games? You could get drawn at home in all of them. Semi-final and final are neutral grounds. And the Premier League is a 38-game race. So I think you've got more chance of getting the best teams in Europe through Premier League qualification than you have with the FA Cup. I mean, can you imagine Wigan going into the Champions League? But I don't think top 5 should get it either. I think it should be limited to 4. I don't like effort. Somebody just said in the chat there, it's a shame we won't get a replay because it would have been nice to see it at St James's Park, says Nathan Watson. I don't think we should have replays. I think there are so many injuries. There are so many minutes played. I really don't think we should be having replays. When did Iniesta play with Peter Crouch? I think winning the FA Cup and getting in the Europa League is a fair deal. Fraser says the no replays is such a top 6 mindset. Yeah, well, maybe that's because the top 6 play more games, but I'm telling you now, replays are a bloody nightmare. We've had a 20% increase in injuries this year, and replays are just more games for limited squads. I think if you are, well, if you're a championship club, you don't want replays. You play 46 games. There's not going to be many people that replays really benefit. Hi Mark, could you do a poll on each round 16 game of the Champions League? Love your content as always. Ultras, says Yannick. I'll do it closer to the Champions League, mate, because it's a bit of a non-entity now, but we'll definitely do that. Because we've still got about a month until that happens, haven't we? Would you get rid of the Carabao Cup? I think the Carabao Cup serves its purpose at the start of the league. You know, FA Cup doesn't start till January, so the Carabao Cup at the start of the season, I don't really mind it. I think the bigger issue is people taking it seriously. The same teams win the Carabao Cup. It's always Man City, Man United, Chelsea, Liverpool. Like, I think we've got a real problem with domestic trophies in this country where the vast majority of teams don't take it seriously in the Premier League. Why do Crystal Palace not want to win the Carabao Cup? Why do Everton not want to win the Carabao Cup? Why do Fulham not want to win the Carabao Cup? It's ridiculous. Bit of pushing and shoving now. Little fight here, says Fennick. I think Sunderland would win in a fight. They've got some big lads. Who'd win in a fight, Newcastle or Sunderland? Newcastle are winning the football, but I think Sunderland have got the bigger lads. Any thoughts on Brendan Rodgers at Celtic, says Jude? I genuinely think I could win games with Celtic. I think they're so good. I mean, look at Neil Lennon. Where's he now? What is Neil Lennon doing now? And he was brilliant at Celtic. Carabao Cup should be Championship and below, says Sneaky. James says that fight was the most exciting part of the game. Yeah, he was managing that Cypriot team, Max, wasn't he? He's a pundit now. Easy money. I'd be bored shitless being a pundit, you know. Fucking hell. Imagine being a pundit. You wait. You have to watch the whole game. And then you get like probably 2 minutes max before and after the game. Boring. Harry Styles has let himself go. If you know, you know. I don't know who that is. I presume it's the Sunderland chairman, is it? I don't know. Good play by Almiron. I tell you what, I think this Lewis Miley looks like he's going to be a good player. Because he's going to get bigger and bigger. I mean, what is he, 17? When he fills out a bit. Oh, here we go. Could be 3. Good block. Liverpool treble. You can't do a treble if you're not in the Champions League. I'm not having this. There is no treble unless you're in the Champions League. You can't win the treble by winning the Europa League, the FA Cup, and the league. I mean, Liverpool could technically do a quadruple. They could win the Europa League, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, and the league. But it's not. You've got to have the Champions League to do anything significant. Oh, Sunderland on the break. He's messed that up. He's ready. Oh, come on. Go forward. You're going the wrong way. Fucking hell. They've shit their pants today, Sunderland, haven't they? They're surely better than this. They don't seem to have much of an idea at all. The new Champions League format should go before replays. Much less necessary, says Playlist. I'd heard that they might be binning it off. I hope they do. Liverpool did the fake treble in 2001, says Ben. That treble was a joke, though, because it didn't have a Champions League and it didn't have a league. So Liverpool did the Europa League, the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. And Carragher tried to say it was harder than the treble. It's harder than the treble because cup competition's harder than the Champions League and the league. He does talk some shite, doesn't he? If you qualify for Europe, you shouldn't be in the League Cup. Gives the lesser teams a trophy opportunity and helps with the fixture congestion. Ah, that's a good idea, Jay. Fourth round draw is on Monday night as well. Remember, if you get knocked out the FA Cup and you're in the Premier League, you only played 2 games in January. I lived in Malahide in Dublin, DFL. Manchiti says, who wins between a shark and a killer whale? Definitely a shark. Definitely a killer whale. 100%. It's not even close. If they had 100 fights, the killer whale would win probably 95 times. The killer whale is far superior to the great white shark. Would you take Joey Barton as your next United manager, says EC? Come on. Yellow card for Bruno Guimaraes. Do you remember Carragher throwing a coin into the Arsenal crowd in the FA Cup? I do, yes. Yeah, yellow card, nothing more. For Guimaraes, I didn't see anything more than that. Have they recognised your achievements at 2-till comprehensive yet? No, Johnny, they haven't. It's like I didn't exist. Killer whale or a megalodon, says 56. Is that a transformer? It's got to be real. It's like saying a lion against Optimus Prime. Come on. Tyson Fury versus the Terminator. Come on. Sunderland, you've got to start having a chance. 1 shot on target in the FA Cup against your biggest rival. Come on. Do better. Right, come on. They're on the attack. Just runs into Trippier. Use R2. Use the right stick. Dribble. You can't just run into a player. Look at him. Where's your skill? Rubbish. I want to work for the United Stand and expand the North American market. Where do I send my proposal, says Lee. That's footballmedia@gmail.com. Phoenix says, a megalodon is a massive shark. It doesn't exist, though. Isaac says they did exist, but they weren't as big as people think. Do you also remember Carragher spitting at a Man United fan after Man United beat Liverpool, says Philip? Yeah, that's all been swept under the carpet now. Let's leave that. Everyone's allowed to come back from a mistake, Philip. Come on, Pritchard. Good save by the Pravka. He did get the shot off. Come on, Sunderland. 15 minutes to go. Now's the time. Still a kick clash. He's rubbish. This winger is absolute... What's his name? Who is he? FA Cup has a rich history. Keep that scrap. EFL Cup, says Brainy. Actually, I think it's a different player this time. Clark. Book title that never be written. The Art of Apologising by the PGMOL, says Bart. Thank you very much. There's a megalodon argument going on in the chat here. Right. Sunderland got a free kick here. Nathan says Jack Clark is decent, to be fair. He just hasn't been today. He's a Spurs reject, says Dark Emeralds. Free kick cleared. Mark, what's your Mount Rushmore on wrestling? Says Tuna. Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, Bret the Hitman Hart, and maybe The Rock. Jamie Carragher. Spat on me daughter. Nice, very nice. Jamie Carragher, says Nico. Megalodon was real millions of years ago. It's the ancestor of modern sharks, but it's extinct now because of lack of food, to put it simply, says Jack. What was it eating? Bloody hell. And would you want Ten Hag gone if he loses on Monday, says 58 Go? It'd be very difficult. I don't know whether it's a question to me. If Ten Hag loses on Monday, would I sack him? I mean, you'd have to. The season would be over before the 10th of January, so you'd have to look at it very seriously, wouldn't you? I'm going to have a look at this Megalodon. It's quite big, yeah. It was a giant fish that lived 23 to 3.6 million years ago. Come on, Sunderland. They're having more of a go now. What poll did we have going on here? Oh, yeah. Should the FA Cup winner get a Champions League spot? Yes, 46%. No, 54%. That's your definitive answer. Well, Newcastle fans will be very happy with this. Probably not a more difficult tie outside of the Premier League you could wish for, really. Been disappointed with Sunderland, but I suppose that's why I don't watch the Championship. Quality's not really that good. I've said it at half time. I think there's a void between the Premier League and the Champions League, and it's an ever growing void. And it's a shame from Sunderland's point of view because they're at home against their biggest rivals in the FA Cup. Their rivals are struggling. And there's just been a very definitive skill gap. But as I say, Newcastle are a good team when they've got everybody available as well. And they're definitely... Eddie Howe can get a tune out of these players as we've seen time and time again over the last 18 months, and they've certainly delivered for him today. Ooh, shot just wide there by Gordon. But I'd have expected a little bit more. Got to be honest there. What if Premier League teams had to play their under-23s in the League Cup? Removes the skill gap between teams and means less games for Premier League teams. You may as well bin it then, though, Chris. I was talking about this the other day. I want to see. I want to see people respecting the FA Cup. I actually quite like the fact that Newcastle have taken it seriously. I like the fact that Wolves took it seriously last night, and Brentford to a certain extent as well. I want to see... The FA Cup lost its glamour because teams stopped taking it seriously. Please do subscribe, by the way. We're only 100 away from 88,000, so bottom right-hand corner to subscribe. We're back tomorrow for Arsenal against Liverpool tomorrow afternoon. Oh, the FA Cup used to be fantastic. I used to love watching the FA. You know, genuinely, FA Cup match of the day, I preferred it much better than the league when I was growing up. Just loved the idea of a cup shock or something like that. But I just think the Premier League is so strong these days that if they take it seriously, you can't live with them. I mean, I remember the days when Wrexham knocked Arsenal out. You know, Burton Albion got a draw against United when we had like Ronaldo and Rooney. But I think such is the intensity of the fitness levels of Premier League players now that you can't really turn up and shock them. Linda's off to the pub. Mine's a pint. Fair play, Linda, as well. Fair play. All this dry January crap. Be a trendsetter like Linda. Go and have a pint. Come on, there's still 10 minutes to go here. They're just so clueless, Sunderland. Their passing is they've shit the bed. If I was tactically analysing this, they've shit the bed against Newcastle. Absolutely played with no confidence and no idea of what they're trying to achieve. Like, what did they think Newcastle were going to do? Newcastle have closed them down and, you know, dominated them. And every time they get the ball, the amount of times I've seen a Sunderland player get the ball in the midfield and refuse a pass, turn around and go backwards. It's like they thought Newcastle were going to turn up and play shit and they'd get through on vibes. Like, you've got to express yourself. Werner deal basically done, says Jake. Yep, good deal. I think it's going to be... Well, look, I support Man United. I want Man United to do well. But, you know, what price Werner next weekend scoring against United? What price Werner firing Spurs to 4th place without Son? You know, I think it's an interesting signing. Scott says, what are your thoughts on the ref? I mean, I just think, look, let's do a poll on this. I think this game has been not a great game, but so much better to watch having no VAR. I mean, where have we needed VAR today? Imagine if they'd sent that Sunderland player off. I'd have switched this game off. Sunderland with 10 men against Newcastle. You're having a bloody laugh. It'd have been absolutely boring. It'd be like a tiger fighting a bloody mouse. Massacre. Or a lion against Tony Blair. The game flow... Look, it doesn't... To me, it doesn't really matter how good the game is. The flow of the game is so much better without VAR. Knowing that a goal is a goal unless the linesman's got his flag up or the referee's blown his whistle. Knowing that a foul is not going to be reviewed unless the referee saw it at the time. I just love that simplicity of football where you, the audience, know what's going on. Oh, he's not giving it as offside. He's not giving a penalty. Well, it's a goal. It's a goal then. It's a goal. No, you know, VAR re-reviews things, doesn't it? I don't like it. Akash is off for fish and chips and a pint. Yes, my EAFC career mode will be back next week. Probably won't be doing it like 3 times a week like I used to, but I am going to get through it and finish my career mode. So it'll be back probably, I think I said next Tuesday afternoon. I'm going to start it again on my channel. So if you like it, it's coming back. Play Fortnite. I haven't played Fortnite since about a week after that charity stream. I watched my nephew was playing it over Christmas, and I was like, yeah, I'm never, ever, ever going to be anywhere near as good as that. I've played the game, but not to that level. Thoughts on Millwall Leicester? I don't know. I don't know what we're talking about. Leicester 3-2. Coventry beat Oxford. Maidstone beat Stevenage. Ipswich beat Wimbledon. There's a load of 3 o'clock games. I was meant to be going down Solihull Moors today, actually, for a 3 o'clock game, but this was on. Lovely ball. Lovely ball. Come on, Sunderland. 4 minutes to go. Where are you going? Little step over. Shoot. Blocked. Shoot. Shoot. Bloody shoot. What's he doing? Where's he going? He's taking himself off. You're a prat. I knew it. You can see players and you know that their brain's not engaged. He don't know where he's going there, does he? He doesn't. He's got no end in sight. What a prat. The amount of times he could have passed or shot there, and he doesn't know. We've all played with players like this. They don't know what they're doing. They're talented, but they don't know the end. You know, they're getting in the car, they don't know where they're going. Where are we going? Don't know. I'm just driving fast. Pilkey says Maidstone beating Stevenage is wild. Look, I'm arrogant. I only really focus on the Premier League, so I don't even know that they're in different leagues. So, Robbo says I didn't think you supported Sunderland. I don't. I just want. I just think it'd be great to have 2-1 with 5 minutes to go. Entertainment is my goal. It's never going to happen though. And having seen Sunderland today, I really hope they don't get promoted. Because they'll get embarrassed in the Prem. He's missed a tackle. Who's this twat at the back? Oh, my God. Now it's Gordon. Penalty. That's a Stonewall. Penalty. Easy. He's got to send him off as well. That's a second yellow, surely. Oh, I thought he'd already been booked. Yeah. Stonewall penalty. The sad thing is, Gordon's not going anywhere. Whoa, it's been a bad day at the office for Sunderland. Yeah, you don't need VAR to tell you that's a penalty. Sunderland have been really bad. To say they're at home and they've been done 3-0. That gap is massive. It's like a clown's pocket. He's had a shocker, hasn't he, says Dom. That's an own goal and a penalty. Could have been sent off as well. Yeah, Arsenal-Liverpool tomorrow. We're doing that. Don't really know which way it's going to go, if I'm being honest. I suppose it depends on the teams they pick. So Isak to make it 3. Second goal of the game. Yeah, lovely penalty. Strokes it into the bottom corner, sends the keeper the wrong way. Yamin says, if Sunderland played Man City, it'd be an absolute bloodbath. We'd see triple figures. I've said it a few times. I'm going to stand by it. The skill gap between the Championship and the Premier League is scary. We've got a problem. We've got a problem in the English game. Let's see how it goes over the next 5 years, because I just don't see... I think it's a huge issue. I saw your post on how this game shows the gulf between the Prem and the lower leagues. Do you think Wigan will balance the scales? I hope not, Robbo. I hope not, Robbo. And David Robertson, thank you very much for your super chats, Robbo, and David as well. He says, I guess VAR is the future, but we currently don't have the infrastructure or competence. This game is an example that football doesn't need it, so turn it off and bring it back when it's ready. I absolutely agree with you, David. You're right. We don't miss it when it's not there. And that's the biggest insult to VAR, isn't it? Like, it's just not missed. You don't miss it at all. So get rid of it. In fact, it's better without it. Newcastle are making a triple substitution here. Why? Why bother? We've all got places to go. Well, look, but above all this, can I just say well done to Newcastle? They've took it seriously. Eddie House took it seriously. The players have took it seriously. It isn't an easy place to go, your biggest rivals, and they've made it look easy, but you can't doubt that in making it look easy, they've worked incredibly hard. You know, it's interesting what Robbo said, because Man United in this game, I don't think it's 3-0, because the United work as hard. Probably not. So it's not like Newcastle have turned up and had it easy. They've had to work for it. Zinger says, please do Stoke versus Brighton. Mate, I'm tired after this. I've got to go and put some stuff in the loft. I'm on the United stand at 8 o'clock tonight, though. So if you want more live bridge, I will be live for that. I very rarely get to do an 8 o'clock show on the United stand as well on a Saturday night. So I'm looking forward to that tonight. Are you going to bring Going for Goldbridge back? Yep. I'm looking forward to this year's about me. I want to do more of the content I like. So, yeah, I'm going to definitely start doing a little bit more of that. Hi, Mark. Love the FA Cup. So disappointed with United with the January transfer window being slow, says Mohammed. Can't see them getting top 4. Well, I don't think we'll get top 4. I think the FA Cup is... And I don't, you know what? It's easy to say we've got to take the FA Cup seriously. It's not easy to say we're going to win the FA Cup. Is Joe Bellingham any good? Hard to tell in a game like this. Hard to tell. I mean, Dubravka's had nothing to do. Dubravka could have been doing press-ups. But it's hard to judge Bellingham in a game like this, because I actually think the brightest spark in that Sunderland team has been that Pritchard. You know, the wish Theo Baker, because... But no, Bellingham's not really stood out, really. But it's been a hard one. Oliver Sharp says, would you do Cooking with Goldbridge? Yeah. Yeah. Would you be surprised if Wigan beat United, says Bobby? Well, yeah, yes and no. I'd be stunned if we lost to Wigan, but then the way United are at the moment, I wouldn't be. But there should be... I mean, United should probably win that 5-0. You know, it should be a walk in the park. When you look at the skill gap between the Championship and the Premier League, imagine what the skill gap's going to be between League One and the Premier League. Silverback Gorilla versus 2 mutated Cobra. Pato. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. How many press-ups can you do, Roger? Not many now. I did get to a point where I could do 80. But that was a few years ago. I knew somebody who could do 200, and there was nothing of them. Like, they weren't muscly. They were small and lean, and they could do 200. So sometimes it's about what you're lifting, isn't it? That's what she said. Cars says 80. Yeah, right. Right. That's it. I've had enough of being doubted. I will do 80 press-ups in 2024 and film it. You don't set the gauntlet because you'll look stupid. You've set that gauntlet. I'm going to fucking do it now. Don't get me started because I'll prove you wrong. I've been doing it all my life. Final whistle. 3-0. Newcastle. Well done, Eddie Howe. Takes a bit of pressure off himself. He's got a hard January. Not because he's trying to not drink alcohol and do it dry, but because he's got Man City next in the Premier League, and then he's got Villa away. I can't do it now, Warren. I wouldn't be able to do 8 now, but I will build up to it. Mark, if you had to manage a Scottish club, which would you choose? Don't take the easy route. I'd take Mark. I would take Aberdeen. Aberdeen. I've always liked Aberdeen. Yeah. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe. We're back on the United Stand at 8 o'clock tonight, and we've also got Arsenal against Liverpool tomorrow. Take care. Speak to you in a bit.